All right, guys, here we go. We've got a super slick wacky worm trick. Now that's a mouthful right there to say, but it's a really, really cool wacky worm trick. I've been throwing wacky worms for a long time, and there's kind of like different classifications of wacky worms. There's trick worms, finesse worms, there's Senkos, missile baits 48s. There's all kind of different worms, straight worms that you can hook in the middle and rig wacky style. So for the longest time, a lot of people use these wacky rings. That you get this little tool, you stick the worm in there, and then you roll the ring down the tube like so, and then it goes over top of the middle of the worm. And I'll show you that. I'll show you on this white color. A little easier to see. But traditionally, to use a ring on here, you just roll this all the way up. I'm not a fan of these. I'm just telling you that right now. And it would go somewhere in the middle of the worm, like yay. And then you would grab said hook, and you just put the hook through the ring like that, so you don't sling the bait off, which is good. You don't want your soft plastics getting slung off, going back into the lake where the fish can ingest them or anything like that. But you only have one option, and the hook can kind of slide around a little bit. You're not going to lose the worm, but you don't get I like the hook to be perpendicular to the worm like that. Now you can do the 2-ring trick. You can put 2 rings on there and then they cross over. I'm just not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan of that. But these VMC, they're called crossover rings. These things are mega slick. And I'll do my best to kind of show you the up close view of what they look like. But that's kind of, you can see it right there. It's a ring. It's got a little hole right there. And then you can also, it's got a hole that way. You can rig it that way as well. So you can rig it perpendicular to the worm, or you can do parallel, either way. Now I'm gonna just put this is a green pumpkin one. And of course it would go on a green pumpkin bait and match up really nice like, so you wouldn't get to see it. But the only stipulation is you need to buy these fancy little pliers if you really want to be able to put these sons of guns on in an efficient way. And there's really no other way to do it. You could wet this little deal, or you could just lick it, get it on there, get the little ring on there. You put that little ring on there. Somebody's trying to call me. We're gonna finish this video. Put the little ring on there. Then you put you can squeeze that and open up the ring. So you can put it through there just like so. And again, you can try to put it through there dry, but it ain't gonna happen. Get a little wet, moisture. You can use fish formula, whatever. And then the worm's gonna slide right on through there. And then you move it up to where you want it. I'm gonna be wanting it right, right kind of in the middle. And then you can also adjust the little nub out there that has the holes in it. I'm gonna adjust it around so that my hook is at the very bottom of the worm, because the 48's flat. Senko might be a laminate or something to where you want a certain color on the top or bottom as it falls. So you can adjust it that way. Then you're gonna hold the ring and the worm and everything, and then squeeze the pliers a little bit, and then it all should kind of come off. See, it's not quite perfect, so you can slide it up just a little bit, get it right where you want it. And then you've got that little nub on there. Now you're gonna go back to your back, and I wanna go perpendicular. So there's a hole. Tough for me without my readers on. There you go. Now you got this little wacky crossover ring on there. I've got the entire worm, the entire hook is outside of the worm. I think that helps with your hookup ratio. I don't think it affects the action at all. So, you know, as you're falling, it's going to be falling like yay. And, you know, after you catch a fish or whatever, sometimes it'll slide up or down just a little bit. But I have fished a single 48 for an entire day. I'm sure you could do the same thing with a Senko or a trick worm. And the cool thing about the crossover rings is they have different size ones. They're by millimeters, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think those are the sizes. But like a 4 is about, you know, like finesse worm, trick worm size. A 4 is right there. 7 is what I use on the 48. I think a 7 or an 8 could be used on a Senko. For that Senko, though, I've seen one review. I haven't tried it. I don't fish a Senko a lot. It's good bait, really, really good bait. But you might want to, you can go a little bit smaller, like to a 6 or a 7. You can still open it up and get it on there, and then it kind of squeezes the middle of that Senko a little bit so that it has better action. Or you could throw the 48, which is already a little squeezed in the middle by design, and that helps with the shimmy and so forth. But yeah, that crossover ring is super slick. I just found out about it from my buddy Ed Lochran, who I fish with on tour. He's one of my roommates there. He showed it to me at Santee this year, and I started using it there. I really like it. It is just, I mean, just super slick. That little crossover ring. I mean, you are not throwing that thing off. And then if you want to, I kind of turn the hook sideways, and then you can finagle it out of there, out of that hole. As you can see, it didn't come out easy. And then you can re-rig it the other way if you want to do more of a Neko deal and be upright and stay upright and, you know, be a little more weedless. You can do it, you know, parallel with so that's, and then you put your weight down here, and then you can throw the Neko rig, or Neko if you want to call it Neko. Perfectly fine. It doesn't matter. The fish like it pretty much most of the time. It works. The little rings work good with the quiver as well. I use the 7 on the both size quivers when I'm gonna Neko rig those as well. So already integrated it, and as you can see, I got an entire bag of them along with the fancy dancy pliers, and that's your investment. It's like 15 bucks for the pliers. I don't know how much these things are a pack, but obviously I bought a whole crap load of them because it's a super slick idea, and I wish that I had thought of it. But these guys at VMC, pretty slick, works good, like I said, with the 48 or the Senko or whatever straight worm that you want to be able to put that ring on. It's a really slick idea. So if anybody has any experience with the crossover ring thus far, drop it down there in the comments. Let me see what you do. If you do a little something different than I do so far, I'm just learning how to use this thing, and I want us all to learn. So drop it down there in the comments, and we can all learn together. Thanks for watching.